What is up, everybody? JT Dangerous here once again. I am back for my Week 6 college football predictions. Now, with Week 5 in the books, we are now into Week 6 of the college football season. So I'm very excited to do these predictions for you guys, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record coming into Week 6 after a very impressive Week 5, we went once again 8-3. So our overall record coming in is 33-19. So we're coming in hot. We haven't had a losing record since Week 2, and I'm looking to keep it that way. So hopefully in this video we will continue the winning ways. We're on a 3-week winning streak. Hopefully in this video we're going to make it 4. Now, we got some big videos coming up on the channel today and this week, so hopefully you guys will be able to watch all of these videos. As always, show your support on all of these videos by watching those videos, super kicking those like buttons and hitting that notification bell, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your college football team in the comment section down below. Now, this is your first time watching my channel as a first-time viewer, and this is your first video. Boy, you picked a good one if you're a huge college football fan like myself and you're ready for Week 6 of the college football season. Welcome to the Dangerous Lions. I am JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is to whoop whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these predictions. Starting off with the first matchup, which will happen on Thursday. It is an American Athletic West rivalry showdown pitting the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes heading to Houston to face the Houston Cougars. Now, this is the 43rd meeting between Tulsa and Houston. Houston leads the all-time series 23-19. Tulsa won the last meeting last year, and Houston's looking to defeat Tulsa for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off byes in Week 5. Tulsa coming in at 1-4, Houston coming in at 3-1. Now, I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of Tulsa Golden Hurricanes football, so I don't know a lot about them, so sorry about that. But we know a lot about Houston. We have picked Houston on this channel before, and they let me down against Texas Tech. So let's see if they can rebound for me. So coming from me in this American Athletic West rivalry showdown, I am taking the Houston Cougars to defeat the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. And now the next matchup, which will be on Friday, it is the battle for the old wagon wheel, pitting the Utah State Aggies heading to BYU to face the BYU Cougars. Now, this is the 88th meeting between Utah State and BYU. BYU leads the all-time series 48-36-3. Utah State won the last meeting last year, and BYU is looking to defeat Utah State for the first time in 2 years. Ironically enough, on my birthday 2 years ago. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 5s. Utah State's coming off a bye. They're coming in 3-1. And BYU's coming off a blowout loss to Washington on Saturday, coming in at 3-2. Now, another team I haven't been watching a lot is the Utah State Aggies. The only two things I know about Utah State is that they're in the same division as my Boise State Broncos in the Mountain West. And they used to have a quarterback I used to like in Chucky Keaton. So that's the only thing I know about Utah State. Then on the other side, you have BYU, who, again, has proven that almost every week is very much of a up and down. 1 week they defeat Wisconsin, the next week they get blown out by Washington. So they're very rocky, like a roller coaster. So coming from me in the battle for the old wagon wheel, this one's tough. I'm going to go, I think just them being at home, I'm going to take the BYU Cougars to defeat the Utah State Aggies in a close one. And now the next matchup, it is a huge ACC conference battle pitting the Florida State Seminoles heading to Miami to face the Miami Hurricanes, or the U. Now, this is the 63rd meeting between the Seminoles and the Hurricanes. The U leads the all-time series 32-30. Miami won the last meeting last year in a very emotional game on the road, and Florida State hasn't beaten Miami in over 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off big wins in Week 5 over rival ACC opponents. Florida State coming off their come-from-behind win against Louisville on Saturday, and they're coming in 3-2. Miami beating North Carolina on Thursday, coming in at 4-1. Now, this matchup is really going to tell us who's going to be the top team in Florida, with Miami being in the ACC Coastal, almost a lock to win the ACC Coastal, and Florida State looking to just stay relevant, even though Clemson and Syracuse has gotten better in that division. They're looking to just keep pace with them. And this is another big game for Coach Willie Taggart in his first year at Florida State. He's looking to do what Jimbo Fisher, what Bobby Bowden has done in the past, and that's beat Miami. But beating Miami is one thing. Doing it in real life is another. And Miami coming off their amazing year last year, maybe their greatest year, and they're coming into this season with Mark Richt, and their quarterback situation has been pretty solid with Malik Rozier on the bench and their backup quarterback getting it done. And that turnover chain, like I said all of last year, When that turnover chain starts, it's like a snowball going downhill, and you cannot stop it. So coming from me in this huge ACC rivalry showdown, ooh, this one's tough. I think I picked Miami last year, if I remember it right. I picked Miami last year, and they got it done. So coming from me, let's go 2 for 2. I am taking the U to defeat the Florida State Seminoles in another close match. And now the next matchup, it is a huge SEC rivalry showdown pitting the undefeated LSU Tigers heading to the Swamp to face the Florida Gators. Now this is the 65th meeting between LSU and Florida. The Gators lead the old-time series 32-29-3. LSU won the last meeting last year, and the Gators are looking to defeat LSU for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off big wins in Week 5 over rival SEC opponents. LSU defeating Ole Miss on Saturday, and Florida defeating a very good Mississippi State team in a defensive battle. So this game is definitely big, especially in the SEC conference in general. LSU being in the SEC West, trying to keep pace with the #1 team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Auburn's getting better every week, but LSU's coming in undefeated. Ed Orgeron's doing a fantastic job coaching, and he's looking to get a big SEC conference win. Then on the other side, you have Florida, who's coming in out of the SEC East. They're looking to stay within some relevancy in the with Georgia being the best team in the SEC East. And this is another big game for Dan Mullen. In his first year in Florida, he's starting off great, but when it comes to rivalry matches, he hasn't really got a legitimate signature win. Yes, they did beat Mississippi State on Saturday, but that was a very defensive game, and Florida's defense is pretty solid. But this is a big game to stay relevant in the SEC East, because Georgia right now is the best team right now in the SEC East. Agree to disagree with me on that, but in the SEC East, Georgia is the best team. So coming from me in this huge SEC rivalry showdown, ooh, this one's tough. This one's going to be a tough one, because playing at the Swamp is almost as bad as playing in Death Valley or Jordan Hare in the SEC. It's loud, another loud stadium. But coming from me, I think I'm going to go with the LSU Tigers to defeat the Florida Gators in a close matchup. And now the next matchup, it is a battle between two famous naval academies, featuring the Midshipmen of Navy heading to Falcon Stadium to face the Air Force Academy Falcons. Now this is the 51st meeting between the Midshipmen and the Falcons. Air Force Academy leads the all-time series 29-21. Navy won the last meeting last year, and Air Force is looking to defeat Navy for the first time in 2 years. And this is also the ongoing rivalry in the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy between Navy, Air Force, and Army. Now, both teams are coming out very different. Week 5, Navy's coming in after a bye, and their record is 2-2. Air Force is coming in after a loss to Nevada on Saturday. They're coming in at 1-3. Now, this is a pretty interesting matchup. I love these. I love doing military predictions for Navy, Army, and Air Force, and this is definitely a big-time matchup. So coming from me in this battle between these two famous naval academies, this one's tough. I'm going to go with the Navy Midshipmen to defeat the Air Force Falcons in a close one. And now the next matchup. It is a huge Big Ten West rivalry, and it is the Floyd of Rosedale pitting the Iowa Hawkeyes heading to Minneapolis to face the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Now this is the 112th meeting between the Hawkeyes and the Golden Gophers. Minnesota leads the all-time series 62-47-2. Iowa's won the last 3 meetings against Minnesota, and Minnesota's looking to defeat Iowa for the first time in 4 years. Now, both teams are coming off byes in Week 5, and they also have identical records at 3-1. So this is a big game in the Big Ten West, because with Wisconsin getting better and Nebraska getting worse, it's really a two-team race. Wisconsin and then whoever wins this game, because really, the Big Ten West is kind of weak right now, even though Wisconsin is the best team in the Big Ten West. Iowa and Minnesota want to be the second best or even better than the Wisconsin Badgers. So coming from me in this year's battle for the Floyd of Rosedale, this one's tough. And I know my boy College Football Dojo is going to be representing his Hawkeyes in the comments section and in his picks. So coming from me for the first time on the channel, I'm taking the Iowa Hawkeyes to defeat the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Hope they don't let me down. And now the next matchup, it is another Big Ten West rivalry showdown pitting the winless Nebraska Cornhuskers heading to Madison to face the Wisconsin Badgers. And this is the 13th meeting between Nebraska and Wisconsin. Wisconsin leads the all-time series 8-4. Wisconsin has won the last 5 meetings against Nebraska, and Nebraska is looking to defeat Wisconsin for the first time since 2012. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 5s. Nebraska getting blown out at home to Purdue on Saturday. They're coming in winless at 0-4, and Wisconsin's coming off a bye in Week 5, coming in at 3-1. Now, talk about two teams that are going in completely opposite directions. Nebraska. Scott Frost's first year is turning into a nightmare. And I don't even think bringing back Michael Myers or Jason's going to help him turn this around. I mean, starting 0-4 and losing to Purdue, a lot of people thinking Purdue was better, their team is better than their record, but getting blown out and giving up 40-plus points to Purdue is unacceptable. And I know that fan base in Nebraska has got to be livid that the season is not going the way they thought it was going to go. And I don't know how it's gonna change. Nebraska is gonna have to go on a surge to make Scott Frost's first year in Nebraska a successful one. They're on the other side of Wisconsin, coming in 3-1. They're the best team in the Big Ten West right now, other than Iowa and Minnesota. So they're looking to continue their dominance in the Big Ten West. With Jonathan Taylor running the ball, how can you go wrong? And that defense usually getting it done. But the last time they were at home, and I think in Madison, they lost to BYU. So could history repeat itself with Nebraska knocking off Wisconsin in Madison? So coming from me in the battle for the Freedom Trophy, this one's so tough, but coming from me, they're at home, it's in Madison. I got to go with Jonathan Taylor and the Wisconsin Badgers to defeat the winless Nebraska Cornhuskers. And now the next matchup, pitting the undefeated Notre Dame Fighting Irish heading to Blacksburg to face the Virginia Tech Hokies. Now, both teams are coming off wins on Saturday. Notre Dame defeating Stanford, coming in at an undefeated 5-0, and Virginia Tech going on the road to defeat the Duke Blue Devils, coming in at 3-1. Now, Notre Dame outside of South Bend has some trouble sometimes. But with their starting quarterback Ian Book, who had a huge game against Stanford, Notre Dame is looking to get another big win and continue their undefeated streak. The only other side of the Virginia Tech Hokies coming off their big win against Duke. A lot of, including myself, did not expect Virginia Tech to rebound. They're back at home. They're looking to get a big-time win, especially being Virginia Tech being in the ACC Coastal. They want to be right up there with the Hurricanes right now. So coming from me in this big-time matchup, this one's so tough because Virginia Tech at home is good. Defense-wise is good. Notre Dame struggles a little bit on the road outside of South Bend, but coming from me, I'm going to go with Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to defeat the Virginia Tech Hokies in a close match. And now the next matchup, it is another SEC rivalry showdown pitting the Auburn Tigers heading to Starkville to face the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Now this is the 92nd meeting between Auburn and Mississippi State. Auburn leads the all-time series 63-26-2. Auburn has won the last 2 meetings against Mississippi State, and Mississippi State is looking to defeat Auburn for the first time in 3 years. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 5s. Auburn's coming off beating Southern Mississippi on Saturday, cupcake, and Mississippi State losing to Florida in a very defensive battle Saturday. Now, Auburn's coming in 4-1, maybe another team that could knock off the number 1 team, the Alabama Crimson Tide, but this is a big game. Big game to continue momentum going into maybe the a huge Iron Bowl matchup. The only other side of the Mississippi State Bulldogs coming off their tough loss to Florida on the I think it was at home, and they're looking to get some revenge. They're back at home. You know the cowbell's going to be in full effect. Nick Fitzgerald's looking to have a much better game. So coming from me in this SEC rivalry showdown, man, it's hard. Jason Stidham at Auburn is doing a fantastic job. This one's tough. That cowbell is going to be in full effect. But coming from me, I'm taking Jason Stidham and the Auburn Tigers to defeat the Mississippi State Bulldogs. War Eagle! And now the next matchup, and this is the one I've been waiting for. It is the Red River rivalry between my Oklahoma Sooners facing off against the Texas Longhorns. Now this game will be, as always, at the Cotton Bowl, and this is the 113th meeting between my Sooners and the Longhorns. Texas leads the all-time series 61-46-5. Oklahoma has won the last 2 meetings against Texas, and Texas is looking to defeat my Sooners for the first time in 3 years. Now, both teams are coming off big wins over rival Big 12 opponents. Oklahoma coming off their win against Baylor, and they're coming in a perfect 5-0. And Texas is coming off a big win over Kansas State, and they're coming in an impressive 4-1. Now, this matchup is definitely big, especially in the Big 12, with Oklahoma getting better, West Virginia getting a big win against Texas Tech being good. This is a big opportunity for Texas here. Oklahoma with Kyler Murray did not play a little bit in that Baylor game, but he came back and he got it done. And Oklahoma is looking to continue their dominance against the Longhorns in this rivalry. Then on the other side, you have Texas coming off their big win against Kansas State. And I'm very happy for Texas. Even though we're rivals, I'm happy that this matchup is going to be a little bit more interesting. And I would not be surprised College Game Day is going to be at the Cotton Bowl this Saturday. But Texas, I'm happy they're 4-1. I'm happy the Renaissance is back in Austin for the Longhorns. I know you Longhorns fans got to be so happy for that. So coming from me in this installment of the Red River rivalry, I think you already know where my allegiance lies. I'm taking my Oklahoma Sooners to defeat the Texas Longhorns in a shootout. And now the next matchup. It is a Pac-12 rivalry showdown pitting the Washington Huskies heading to the Rose Bowl to face the UCLA Bruins. Now, this is the 74th meeting between the Huskies and the Bruins. UCLA leads the all-time series 39-32-2. Washington won the last meeting last year, and UCLA is looking to defeat the Washington Huskies for the first time in 4 years. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 5s. Washington blowing out BYU at home on Saturday, coming in at 4-1. And UCLA losing to the Colorado Buffaloes on Friday, coming in at a winless 0-4. Now, talk about another team. Talk about two teams that are going in completely different directions. Washington getting another big win. Jake Browning's having a great year. And they're looking to become, once again, the best team in the Pac-12 North. Then on the other side, you have the UCLA Bruins who are going in the complete opposite direction. And like I said with Scott Frost, Chip Kelly and UCLA, I wonder if they're regretting getting him. Because 4 games, 4 losses, and the losing to Colorado on Friday did not help Chip Kelly's job security. Because that hole is getting deeper and deeper, and that fan base has got to be pissed. Being from California, I know there's a lot of UCLA fans out here. But going 0-4 in Chip Kelly's first year should not be surprising to any fans of the Niners or the Eagles. But for UCLA fans who wanted to be relevant again, have turned to be almost irrelevant once again this season. So coming from me in this Pac-12 rivalry showdown, this could be a bloodbath. This could be a massacre in the Rose Bowl. So I'm going to take the Washington Huskies to defeat the UCLA Bruins. And now the final matchup in Week 6, it is a Mountain West showdown featuring this town's Fresno State Bulldogs heading to Reno to face the Nevada Wolfpack. Now this is the 50th meeting between Fresno State and Nevada. Fresno State leads the all-time series 28-20-1. Fresno State won the last meeting last year, and the Wolfpack are looking to defeat Fresno State for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off big wins on Saturday. Fresno State with a big win at home over Toledo, coming in at 3-1. Nevada defeating Air Force on Saturday, coming in at 3-2. Now, starting off with the hometown team here, the Fresno State Bulldogs, they're having a hell of a season this year. I mean, Jed Tedford's having another great year. His first year last year was amazing. His second year coaching the Bulldogs this year has been amazing. Their quarterback, McMarion, has had a great game against Toledo with over 4 touchdowns. And this Bulldogs team is definitely getting better and better ever since Jed Tedford has come. Then on the other side of the Nevada Wolfpack, they have always been a threat, especially in the Mountain West Division. Especially when it comes to spoiling some big-time teams. I remember them defeating my Boise State Broncos, and they're looking to get another big win in the Mountain West Division. So coming from me in the final matchup of Week 6, this one's going to be tough. I'm going to go with the hometown team here in California, the Fresno State Bulldogs, to defeat the Nevada Wolfpack in a close matchup. And those are my Week 6 college football predictions. Now, I want to thank you guys so very much for watching these videos today. Comment below, who do you have winning in Week 6? Do you see any big-time upsets this week? And as always, represent your college football team in the comment section. And as always, have your picks down below. Let's have a conversation about it. Of course, I am always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to you, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching. Now, before you guys go, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous alliance. And I will see you guys later today for even more big videos. Later days, guys, and peace.